Welcome to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Night Nation's only call-in show goes live now.
All right, hello, Night
From
Nation.
First Take to your...
Andrew Phegley coming to you from the VictoryCasino.com cruise. I messed it up. Let me try that again. All right.
I'm glad we're not the only ones messing up. All right, cool. Very good.
Well, yeah, it got all messed up there. That's fine. It is what it is. It's live radio, folks, live radio. All right, let's try this again. Nightline, the morning after. I'm Andrew Phegley, live from the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio. And the 1148 studios, because we're here doing that. And Chase is back in the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio doing what he does.
Messing
there.
up? That's what it sounds like. I'm doing a great job of it.
It's all good. It's all good. All right, we are brought to you by Chad Barlaw, raising the bar on what you expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation, or visit chadbarlaw.com. We are taking your calls, though. 844-225-5580 on the Dever team line if you want to talk to us. Phone lines are open the entire show. And your text at 21232 or AP_Knightline on Twitter. We have Roger Night Bengal on the phone through the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio. Are you there, Raj?
Good morning. I'm here. Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, we can hear you. And then Ben, Big Social Stout, is with me here at the 1148 studios. Ben, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
All righty. Well, we've got stuff to talk about. There was actually some sports type action this week, which is something new for us for a while here. The NFL draft, and one of our Knights was picked in the NFL draft. Gabe Davis, 124th or 28th? Yeah, 128th, fourth round, going to the Buffalo Bills. So that's good. And then a couple of our players were also picked up as free agents. Adrian Killens going to the Eagles. Neville Clark to the Vikings, Nate Evans to the Jaguars, and then we got a couple of guys that we haven't heard anything about yet. So hopefully they've got something going on, but we can talk about that. We've got a little bit of basketball weirdness, transfer / going to the NBA draft, junk to talk about as well.
For sure.
So let's get started, I guess. Ben, what did you think about the way that the draft worked out, I guess, for our Knights?
Well, the way it worked out for our Knights is, unfortunately, we saw, well, I guess on the unfortunate side, we only saw one of our players get drafted in Gabriel Davis going in the fourth round. Now, a lot of us who have watched Gabe Davis over the last few years and just kind of know everything there is to know about his game, and just how, not only how of a great player he is and how versatile he is on the field, but such a hard worker that he is. Some of us may have been a little bit disappointed that he had to wait all the way until the fourth round and he went to the Buffalo Bills. But that being said, kind of the overarching consensus, it seemed, under the quote unquote experts, is that the fourth round was about where he was supposed to go, and him going to the Buffalo Bills, I think, is a pretty good fit for him. Looking at their roster, they did acquire Stephon Diggs from the Vikings recently, but John Brown, Cole Beasley, all three of those guys that I just mentioned on the Bills rosters, they're a little bit smaller receiver. They're a little bit different type of receiver than Gabe Davis is. And so I'm hoping that he can, be a good fit on that roster, make the team contribute right away, and it'll be a great start to his career in Buffalo.
Roger, what's your take?
Well, I think for the Knights in general, I would have loved to have seen a few more get better roster spots. However, with the lack of a pro day for some of our guys, a lot of our guys traditionally have jumped quite a bit in the rankings when they have the pro day. So you think about Shaquem Griffin, you think about Perriman, you think about all those guys. They made significant headway when that happened. As far as Gabe to the Bills is concerned, I'm kind of in the camp with Ben here. He definitely has a good shot for a roster spot. Most of their wide receivers have been focused on smaller guys, and this is going to kind of play to his strengths. They're going to want him to do that go route. They're going to want him to be the end zone threat, to high point the ball, and so I do think it's a good spot for him. Some of the other guys, you mentioned you mentioned Clark to the Vikings. One of the things that worries me about that was he's got 4 rookie cornerbacks that he's competing with. So with Gabe, it's a little bit different because there's only one other guy with length. So I think he's got a good shot at making the roster long term.
All righty, Chase, you got anything on this whole deal?
I mean, I was disappointed that he didn't go to my Buccaneers because I think they were keeping an eye on him. I think Gabe Davis could have gone a lot higher if it wasn't for, this whole coronavirus pandemic, kind of like the lack of a pro day, no combine, or scratch that. But I feel like he could have gone a little bit higher, and I think if scouts actually took a look at him, he could have been a 3rd round pick. I think 4th round, seeing his talent firsthand, I think all of us seeing his talent firsthand, he could be one of the biggest steals of the draft. And I just hope that he at least gets the workload, because right now he's going into kind of a crowded wide receiver room with Rashad Perriman coming off a big year and is a nice deep route, and you also have Stephon Diggs. So hopefully Gabe makes the most of this and he'll be something special over there.
Okay. Yeah, I think Perryman is somewhere else, though.
He's with
now.
the Jets.
I think he's with the Jets.
That's right. Oh my gosh,
it's a New York team, though.
John Brown. That's what I was thinking of. John Brown was there. That's the other speedster.
If they're competing for the state of New York, we're all. I'm exhausted today. So if he's playing for the state championship of New York, he'll have to compete with Perryman.
I'm having a heck of a show already with this.
It's all right. It's all good. Chase, I won't call on you the rest of the show. No, I'm just joking.
I deserve it.
I'm playing. It's all
You're
good.
in timeout, Chase.
All right. So, cool thing is that Gabe Davis was the 42nd player from UCF to be drafted in the NFL. The Knights have now had at least one player drafted in 14 of the last 15 years. UCF has had now 18 players picked in the last 12 drafts, and there's now been 10 UCF receivers. So wide receiver U possibly there, picked in the draft, starting with, I believe, Ted Wilson in 1987 in the 10th round of the draft. 10th. I'm glad we don't have 10 rounds anymore of the draft. I guess that would be like a free agent or something, nowadays. So I guess we can go down the list. Ted Wilson, Bernard Ford, Sean Jefferson, Charles Lee, Doug Gabriel, Brandon Marshall, Mike Sims-Walker, Rashad Perriman, Traquan Smith, and Gabe Davis. Josh Heupel has had, in his 2 years at the helm, has had a player drafted in both 2019 and 2020. If you don't remember, Tristan Hill last year drafted in the 2nd round, the 58th pick to the Dallas Cowboys, and basically hasn't played it down. So, due to his own discipline, it sounds like. Anyway, I am one of those people that is a little bit disappointed with Gabe Davis going in the 4th. Personally, I thought that I know that he's a better player than that. I know that he's got a lot more, to show people. I'm not sure if I guess the whole not having a pro day had to hurt a little bit. I'm not sure though, because he was at the combine. He was able to talk to everybody that needed to talk to him, even though they weren't doing pro days, they still had the opportunity to bring these guys to their facilities or whatever. I'm sure that they did that.
And he was a full participant at the combine too.
And he was a full participant. I'm also a little bit. I'm perplexed about the Neville Clark thing, to be honest with you, and I'm not totally sure. I've heard some rumors of what happened and stuff like that. We'll see, I guess, if that comes out and if it's true or whatever. Maybe some backstabbing by a couple people involved in that thing. Nate Evans, I'm really glad that he got picked up by the Jaguars. I think he'll have a good opportunity there.
We can always count on the Jags, can't we? At least one UCF player is going to get picked up by the Jags. I'm glad he was able to get a spot.
Right, yeah. And Adrian Killens to the Eagles, I think that's a good situation for him. He was like, obviously they were ready to take him because I think he was the first one that we heard anything about. So, that's cool. I'm just glad to see him get an opportunity. I was hoping my Chiefs maybe would look at him to add a little bit more speed, even because I think he would work great in our deal with Tyreek Hill and all those little wide receivers, little fast wide receivers. We could have had a little bit more speed going there. Mikhail Hardeman and all those guys. I'm good with it.
Yeah, I really liked Killens getting signed by the Eagles. I'm not really a fan of it. I'm a Bucs fan myself, so I'm not really a fan of any team in the NFC East. But that being said, Doug Peterson is a very creative play caller. He knows how to use certain guys like Adrian Killens. And, there's some past with that football team of guys like Darren Sproles. I mean, the Adrian Killens type, the guys that are speedsters, that are really slippery, can play great in a special teams game, whether it be returning kicks or whatever. But also receiving out of the backfield and getting a few carries here and there. I can see him being used as a gadget player, hopefully right away with the Eagles. Hopefully he has a really good shot of making that team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like Neville Clark has a good opportunity out there at the Vikings, too.
Yeah.
We can talk about this, for a while today. We've got an hour here to talk about this kind of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say is we're kind of sitting here a little bit disappointed that Gabe Davis didn't go before the fourth round, and I think it shows how far we've come and how far we've come in a short period of time, not only from a performance standpoint, but also from an expectation standpoint. I remember back in 2017 in that draft, us being so excited that Traquan Smith got picked up in the third round.
Right.
We were like, yes. I mean, and that's one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. Gabe Davis took it to the next level. But I think it's a great spot for him, and I think he's going into a good situation with a young quarterback, a young team, and he's got a chance to make a name for himself right away. So I'm certainly excited about him and some of these other Knights that are getting their chance.
Alrighty, yeah. I agree. I definitely agree with that. I think it's great. The one thing that I kind of, might cause a little bit of a controversy, but I'm going to say I think that our drafts have done a little bit better in the last few years than the George O'Leary years, to be honest with you. I'm a little bit, I don't know, the Scott Frost / Josh Heupel area hasn't been, or not area, but era. Yes, thank you. I'm not awake. So Chase, there you go, man. It's all good.
Hooray!
I'm not awake either. It's the morning after. That's why we call this the morning after, because mistakes will happen. It's all good. But I think in that era, I just think we were producing more draft ready type people. So, I mean, you could use the argument as well that Gabe Davis should have stayed for his senior year and maybe been drafted in the second round or the first round.
Yeah, I think that's something that we should definitely tap into.
Here's the challenge with Gabe waiting a year. I mean, there's so much uncertainty with regard to college football right now and whether he would even be able to play this year. So, from that perspective, I don't know if that would have helped him. I will say, though, that, to your point about NFL-ready, Knights, I mean, O'Leary was an NFL coach. He taught an NFL system, both on offense and defense. They were renowned for being disciplined, knowing how to prepare, and that carried a lot of weight within the NFL. So I think it was more of that helped them get drafted. However, that being said, the systems have started to change. I mean, you talk about the NFL, a lot of people call it a copycat league. It's completely changed. They're running more up-tempo type systems like what we're running. And I think as you see that transition, I think that'll help us. The biggest point is like you said, we had a lot of wide receivers and defensive backs that we've traditionally done well in the draft. Unfortunately, this new system doesn't lend itself, isn't as complicated per se on the route tree, so it doesn't lend itself to the NFL draft as much as what prior systems have.
All righty. Hey, yeah, I agree with you there. Hey, we're going to take a little bit of a break here, and we'll be right back on Knightline the morning after, and we'll take your calls, 844-225-5580. 844-225-5580. Call us and talk to us about this, folks.
Oye, amigo, it is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Does Adam Silver look like a women's roll-on deodorant? Does Scott Van Pelt look like a scientist on the Muppets?
Dan Le Batard, weekdays at 10 a.m. on ESPN 580 Orlando.
With tax season upon us and the unusual time at home with family, now would be a great opportunity to consider creating your own private backyard oasis with a new fence from the experts at Mossy Oak Fence. And if you're looking for fence materials this spring, check out the Mossy Oak Wholesale Mega Store. They stock a large selection of both standard and custom fence products that can be hard to find. And that's not all. Mossy Oak Fence can deliver right to your door. Let the Mossy family protect your family. MossyOakFence.com.
Guys, waking up over and over to pee is not okay. But now, you can reduce those nighttime bathroom trips with the ingredients in Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced. We're talking about less urges to pee at night, less bathroom trips during the day, and better bladder emptying.
It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one.
You can try a full 30-day bottle of
P3 Advanced. Free. Just pay shipping and handling.
No strings attached, no obligations, and no commitments to buy. This is a 30-day supply, absolutely free.
Call 1-800-475-9079.
Super Beta Prostate is the best-selling brand in major retailers like Walmart. But for this no-strings-attached free bottle, you must call now.
Call 1-800-475-9079.
Don't miss out on this unprecedented free offer.
Call 1-800-475-9079. 1-800-475-9079.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else, New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline and Knightline Postgame Live. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
Guys, waking up over and over to pee
is not okay.
But now, you can reduce those nighttime bathroom trips with the ingredients in
Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced.
We're talking about less urges to pee at night, less bathroom trips during the day, and better bladder emptying.
It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one.
You can try a full 30-day bottle of
P3 Advanced. Free. Just pay shipping and handling.
No strings attached, no obligations, and no commitments to buy. This is a 30-day supply, absolutely free.
Call 1-800-475-9079.
Super Beta Prostate is the best-selling brand in major retailers like Walmart. But for this no-strings-attached free bottle, you must call now.
Call 1-800-475-9079.
Don't miss out on this unprecedented free offer.
Call 1-800-475-9079. 1-800-475-9079.
Whether it's on AM 580, FM 96.5 HD2, Alexa, or Google Home, we are everywhere you hear audio. ESPN 580 Orlando, Orlando's home for the biggest events in sports.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, back on Knightline the morning after. I'm Andrew Phegley. We're live from the Victory Casino Cruises.com studio and the 1148 studio. We are brought to you by Chad Barlaw, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation or visit chadbarlaw.com. Chad is an awesome guy and a great lawyer. So if you slipped and fall or had a car accident or something like that, need a lawyer for an issue like that, definitely please give Chad Barr a call. He will take care of you, just like family. We are taking your calls, though, 844-225-5580 on the Dever team line, 844-225-5580 if you want to talk with us about this NFL draft deal with the Knights, or you can send a text 21232, and Chase will read those from the Victory Casino Cruises.com studio. Or you can contact me, AP_Knightline on Twitter. So back to this whole NFL draft thing. And Chase has been doing some research on the old Google machine there back in the studio.
Yes.
What have you found?
Well, I'm trying my best to make myself competent here. So
here's your chance.
Oh, gosh, no, that's a little too much pressure. All right, so the American as a whole had 17 drafted players. That's only 4 less than the Big 12. And that, mind you, ECU and USF didn't have any players drafted. So I feel like that's at least a good win for at least for the conference as a whole. It's like, okay, yes, UCF only got 1, but at least the American as a whole, you got to help, at least can't help but recognize. And I'm trying to see. One
problem that I have with that situation is there was a UConn player drafted before a UCF player. And I that upsets me because of the quality between our programs.
Right.
And if our good friend Jerry Daniels is listening, he may have something to say about that.
That's a fancy way of trying to get him to call in to defend his alma mater.
UConn do they even have a football program anymore? Does UConn even, after this year, do they even have a football program?
I believe they still will have a football program, but I think it's going to be like, I think they're going to like another division.
Oh, okay.
I think they're going to
dropping
be
down to Division 2.
They might drop down after this year because they probably can't sustain it.
Yeah. Well, that upsets me. And then I mentioned that I thought maybe the George O'Leary era had a little bit more draft-ready players coming out of UCF. Chase, I know you were doing a little bit of research, Googling on that too. What did you come up with on that?
All right, so from George O'Leary's time, from 2006 to 2015, there were 16 players, including Brandon Marshall, Mike Sims-Walker, Kevin Smith, Josh Sitton, a whole bunch of other players. I could go on, but that's not good radio. From 2017 to 2020, we have...
This is good radio anyway.
I know. Shaquille Griffin, Mike Hughes, Traquan Smith, Jordan Akins, Shaquem, Tristan, and Gabe Davis. So already we're at 7 in just a 4-year time span. Yeah, which I feel so I mean, even if you look at the first 4 years of O'Leary, he only had Brandon Marshall, Mike Sims-Walker, Kevin Smith, Josh Sitton, and Mike Merritt, and Joe Burnett. So it's 5 or 6. So I think right now we're still on a decent pace. We haven't gone down in terms of representation. I just think right now we just had a little bit of a down year. Let's not forget that 2 years ago, we had 4 players drafted. So I think at this point...
I think that maybe that is, those were all George O'Leary players, by the way, that he recruited, those 4 from
but who made them
2017.
Better? Scott Frost
Yeah,
did.
I mean, that's definitely debatable. I don't know whether Scott Frost really made the team that much better or he motivated them. I think maybe he motivated them, but I think they were already as good as they were going to be. Honestly.
Oh, fairly decently, but we really didn't have the exposure that we were looking at before. Conference USA and the AAC and the types of games and the national TV ratings, et cetera, that we have now, I think, is helping from a draft perspective. Obviously, winning also helps, too. The problem with the O'Leary years is that we were yo-yoing so much. The ability to get a team of higher-level 3-stars just wasn't there. Now, that doesn't mean that the individuals that are out there that have been drafted or have signed free agent contracts after the fact haven't had the longevity. So I'd be curious to see how many folks during those spans or equitable spans, if you include undrafted free agents, had at least 2 years in the league.
Well, I can tell you the George O'Leary guys were all studs in the NFL for the most part. Not all, obviously, but there's a couple in there that are multi-time Pro Bowlers. There's a couple that had extremely long NFL, jobs or careers. So, that would be one thing that I would go with on that.
Yeah, on that note, the two draft picks that probably had the most success of the O'Leary era, I would say, even though you could argue Brandon Marshall was recruited by Kruzek, blah, blah, blah. So, but Brandon Marshall and Josh Sitton, and we're talking about 2 all-time players. Josh Sitton should more than likely make the Hall of Fame one day. I would say that Brandon Marshall has a great shot at that as well.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about 2 just all-time greats in the NFL that came out of UCF from the O'Leary era. Both of those were drafted in the 4th round. So, hey, I mean,
that's
who
interesting,
knows?
yeah.
So what's interesting is that what you see, I'm looking at the list of UCF players drafted now, and most of them are in that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, late round draft picks that went into the NFL, to your point, very prepared for an NFL style and system and had great success, overperformed their draft status, if you will. And what we've been used to over the last, call it 5 years since Blake Bortles was drafted 3rd overall in the 2014 draft, what we've been starting to get used to is those early round draft picks and guys like Shaquille Griffin. Mike Hughes is showing some flashes when he's been healthy, but these top draft picks that have come into the league and also had some success as well, we just don't have enough timetable to see how well they're going to do to get to that kind of all-time level or really standout level.
Yeah.
Well, I would say this, too. If we didn't do a better job with getting folks drafted in the NFL as our program proceeds, I think that's indicative of our status in college football. I did kind of think about this the other night when we had the draft going on. Did the fact, and this may or may not have an impact, but did the fact that we had that we lost 3 games, that we didn't have a Fiesta Bowl year or a Peach Bowl year or anything, affect the draft status of some of our players?
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a little bit of a break here. We'll be right back on Knightline the morning after, and we will talk a little bit of college basketball things going on at UCF, and we'll continue talking about this draft action.
Cox Media Group is open, and we want to know if you are too. Our lives have changed, and our business community is adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and convenient way. Support local businesses, big and small. Here's today's list of businesses that are open.
Truly Nolan Pest and Termite Control, CNS Healthcare, 2020 Eyeglass Superstore, the Goddard School, 4 Wheel Parts.
If your business is still open, let Cox Media Group know at weareopenorlando.com. That's weareopenorlando.com. Together, we will get through this.
I'm Jeff Allen. Join me each and every week on the Knightline Sports Network for the AAC Report. We bring you in-depth coverage of each school in football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, golf, tennis, and more, as well as bring you insider interviews and focus in on the biggest games and news of the week. That's all right here each week on the AAC Report, only on the Knightline Sports Network.
Our community is hurting.
I've been talking with a lot of my creditors to make arrangements.
Thousands have lost jobs and can't pay their bills.
I just don't have nothing in my bank account. It's just been really tough.
If you can, please join ESPN 580 Orlando and 9 Family Connection as we team up with United Way to help people with their rent, mortgage, and utilities through our Central Florida Strong initiative.
You don't know if this is the day that you'll be personally affected.
To donate or learn more, visit letshelporlando.com.
Get out there. Yep, that's what we said. Get out there with your resume. It's true. You've heard the news about historic unemployment numbers, but there's positive news out there too. Companies are still hiring. You just have to know where to look. And where you should look is Career Builder. Career Builder has over 300,000 open jobs listed right now, and most of the positions do not require a college degree or prior experience in the job title.
Today in Orlando, Career Builder has over 12,000 new job listings. Positions like retail supervisors, registered nurses, customer service representatives, and heavy and tractor-trailer truck drivers.
Visit CareerBuilder.com to create a resume for free. Upload a resume, search jobs near you, and let our technology connect you to employers. Now, more than ever, we're working to support the mainstream American workforce and to help you find a job fast. Visit CareerBuilder.com. Career Builder. We're building for you.
Night Nation, this is Adam, one half of the dynamic duo that is the Sons of UCF, which is found only on the Knightline Sports Network. Join UCF Mike and I each week as we bring you some of the latest from in and around UCF sports, including such great segments as the Josh Heupel Translator, Top 8 Lists, and Cow of the Week. We'll also bring you some of the most in-depth and unique interviews with some of your favorite former Knights. You don't want to miss a moment, so make sure you subscribe to the Knightline Sports Network wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll take care of the rest. Go Knights. Charge on.
Guys, waking up over and over to pee is not okay. But now, you can reduce those nighttime bathroom trips with the ingredients in Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced. We're talking about less urges to pee at night, less bathroom trips during the day, and better bladder emptying.
It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one.
You can try a full 30-day bottle of
P3 Advanced. Free. Just pay shipping and handling.
No strings attached, no obligations, and no commitments to buy. This is a 30-day supply, absolutely free. Call 1-800-475-9079. Super Beta Prostate is the best-selling brand in major retailers like Walmart. But for this no-strings-attached free bottle, you must call now. Call 1-800-475-9079. Don't miss out on this unprecedented free offer. Call 1-800-475-9079. 1-800-475-9079.
Whether it's on AM 580, FM 96.5 HD2, Alexa, or Google Home, we are everywhere you hear audio. ESPN 580 Orlando, Orlando's home for the biggest events in sports.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
Alrighty, I'm Andrew Phegley. We are back on Knightline the morning after, live from the Victory Casino Cruises.com studio and the 1148 studios. Brought to you by Chad Barr Law, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation or visit chadbarlaw.com. We're taking your calls at 844-225-5580 if you want to talk to us about any of this NFL draft stuff or anything else, by the way. 844-225-5580 on the Dever Team line. Or you can text us 21232. I've got Ben Stout here with me, and we've got Roger Bengal on the phone, and we've got Chase in the Victory Casino Cruises.com studio. And we're continuing to talk about this NFL draft for the Knights. And maybe we're going to get into a little bit of basketball stuff as well, which some interesting things happening there. I guess let's go to that real quick, and we can come back to the draft. UCF picks up a grad transfer, and I don't know a lot about this guy. Ben, this would be your thing to talk about, obviously. Darius Perry from Louisville, I think, right?
Yeah, we were able to pick up Darius Perry as a grad transfer from Louisville, which is great for us to add some experience to this backcourt. I mean, we talked with Tony Johnson and Darren Green Jr. being so young, Isaiah Adams, an incoming freshman. So we really need some more experience. And Cesar DeJesus was supposed to be a senior this year. He's no longer going to be there. So bringing in a grad transfer at the guard position was something that I anticipated from Johnny Dawkins. And at 6'2", 195, he's been a very steady, good contributor for Louisville. He's played in every game this past season. He started about 26 of the 31 games. He's averaging about 20 minutes a game, so he's used in kind of a while he's a starter most of the time. He kind of like swaps in and out. So seems to be a good teammate on that front. Looking at his stats, it's not going to necessarily blow you away at 5.2 points per game and a few assists, but one of the things that was noted about him is that he has steadily improved his three-point shot. He's really been a much improved and a much better three-point shooter this past year, averaging almost 40% from three-point range. But looking at some of his highlights from last year with Louisville, what struck me about him is that he is the best comparison I can give him is that Knights fans will remember is Terrell Allen. He's long. He's great at handling the basketball, but he is a tenacious defender. He's really good at the defense from the guard position, and so I think he's going to be a great contributor for us. And I don't know if he's going to be a starter or maybe a depth piece, but certainly somebody who's capable of starting and playing at a high level, and that defense guy that Johnny Dawkins really likes.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, it's good to have some guys that have experience come in along with those freshman guys, especially. Also, Colin Smith declaring for the draft, just putting feelers out, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not sure if he has officially declared for the NBA draft yet because the UCF basketball hasn't put anything out on their social media, which, we saw with Darren Green when he did declare. But I think the deadline might be today or the next few days for him to do that, and he's widely expected to do so. Again, this is after his junior year, and he was, of course, the focal point of our team this year. He was our leading scorer. He was number one or number two in most categories from a stat perspective. He's 6'11", 240. He does have an NBA-ready body, but is he has he put enough on the table? Has he put enough on tape to prove to NBA scouts that they're going to spend one of the 60, picks? The NBA is one of the hardest hardest leagues to get drafted by. We're not talking 7 rounds like we experienced this past weekend. So I think he's going to get some good feedback and get some things that he needs to work on in his senior year. But I just like Darren Green declaring last week, I do feel like Colin Smith will be back in a Knights uniform for his senior year. And I think that this process will benefit him and benefit our team because there are some things that he needs to work on and come back strong for next year.
And basically, that's what they're doing anyway.
Yes.
These underclassmen that are declaring that really know that they're not going to be picked high in that draft. I mean that's like you said, only 60 people picked.
Right, 2 rounds.
It's not very much. So what they're doing basically is just trying to get information about what they need to work on, basically. Getting a scouting report, and this is what you need to do to be in the NBA. This is where you would be ranked,
yes,
in a draft a grade and all that stuff. So that's cool. I think that's good information for those guys to have. It's a little weird when you hear about it if you don't know exactly what's going on. You hear these players, they're going to the NBA. Well, they're not necessarily going to the NBA. They have an opportunity to get a rating and all that stuff without actually giving up their NCAA eligibility if they don't hire an agent.
Right.
And
actually a nuance to that, I just found out recently that there is a list of approved agents by the NCAA, so they can hire an agent on that approved list. But they have to kind of cut that relationship with that agent once they, decide to come back to school. So it is an interesting nuance.
Yeah.
That's like a new rule that happened, I think, in between before last year's season. So there's an approved list between the NCAA and the NBA Players Association of a pool of agents, essentially, that they are allowed to sign for in that pre-draft agency and still maintain their eligibility. So I don't know if one of our guys is going to do that, but still.
Interesting. Well, it's a good opportunity for these guys, though, to do that. So anything else as far as basketball that we can talk about? I think that's...
Well, I just want to mention, as I did on our on Knightline, the podcast last week, when we were talking about the Darren Green situation, is that there's a lot of there's a lot of criticism that happens of Coach Dawkins, and there's some praise as well. But what's interesting about these two guys going through this process, and we saw it with Taco as well, is that I do feel that Johnny Dawkins does have some good connections in the NBA, probably more so than any other coach that we've had here before. So I think this is a benefit to these players that are able to kind of take that next step, and it shows these big time recruits that could be possibly coming to UCF that there is a path to the next level if you come to UCF. So
what kind of a thing is this, getting this guy from Louisville? Is that something that, I mean, he was a 4-star. I mean, he's got the 100 games of experience. I mean, was that do you think that that's a good thing? A good move that was made? I mean, does this give our team a little bit more clout with this guy on it?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, we talk about it every year in college basketball and college football. I mean, there's hundreds. I think there was 800, 900 players in the transfer portal last year. So I'm sure it's about the same this year. So, and of those hundreds of players that are in the transfer portal, Darius Perry was ranked in the top 25 in most publications as far as the top prospects in the transfer portal. So he was right around that 20 mark, I think 22 by ESPN and 21 by a couple others. So when you get a guy like that is valuable, kind of on the national level and on a top 25, top 10 at some points last year, Louisville team and a starter for that team. I mean, you get some good high-level experience bringing it to UCF. It certainly can only benefit us.
Awesome. Well, we hope that Darius Perry does good stuff here with his grad transfer year at UCF. Can definitely help the situation out. Chase,
guys, talking about basketball and grad transfers, one of the major topics of conversations this week was that they're going to be adding or looking to add another transfer, one-time transfer for everyone. So everyone gets a one-time transfer without having to sit out. You mentioned the grad transfer rule, so potentially you have two transfers for a player during the course of their career without any penalty of sitting down now. Now, that's a whole nother layer in recruiting and everything else. So Jim Boeheim was actually very vocal and had come out and said that this is going to kill a lot of college basketball programs outside of the Kentuckys, et cetera, of the world for these five-star players. Now, you layer on the fact that the G League now, the number one or projected number one player in the high school player in the country has now gone G League because they're actually paying a decent amount. They're getting exposure, and it has started to open that door. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the talent pool in general. Just kind of extrapolating here, you think about the Kentuckys of the world, right? So they're one and done. Well, let's say they don't pull from the high school ranks as much for these high-end five-star players, right? What are they going to do? Well, if they have a transfer available, you could have people start at a school like UCF, get developed. Darren Green Jr. is a perfect example. He's a guy who can shoot well, can also go to the hoop. Let's say he stays with us for 2 years or 3 years, and then Kentucky has an opening to transfer. He's trying to get to the NBA. That one and done now goes from one and done high school to potentially one and done college. So that opens up a whole nother layer of conversation around recruiting, development, And then team cohesiveness. If you've got guys that are not 5-star players that are coming in, it takes a while to build them up and then build a team into a cohesive unit. You kind of saw that over this past season. How's that going to affect that for teams that are not one-and-done 5-star Kentuckys of the world?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point, and it certainly does add a wrinkle to the entire recruiting process and just the landscape of college basketball especially. And so while I agree with you, it certainly adds a new wrinkle that everyone's going to have to adjust to. I'm not quite sure how it would affect a player like Darren Green Jr., for instance, where there's going to be very strict rules on how teams reach out to, other teams are going to be able to reach out to teams or players, I should say, on the current roster of a team like UCF, for instance. It's not like when Darren Green Jr. is in high school, he's able to be reached out to by every college coach in the country that wants to talk to him. When he's an active player on UCF's roster, I don't know, or that obviously can't occur, and there's got to be some regulation there. That I understand regulation is only as good as the enforcement. So I would hope that there would be massive penalties to players that aren't necessarily in the transfer portal and coaches trying to poach them away from other schools. It certainly is an interesting wrinkle that we're going to have to watch out for in the coming years. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I think it's just, for me, it's about who we develop and who they are as a sophomore or junior, right? If they're trying to get to the NBA, do they get more exposure by going to someone like Kentucky, right? They're playing for national championships, et cetera. The traditional powers, I could see them trying to consolidate that. And if a kid's trying to get his ranking boost as high as possible or visibility, I could see that one-and-done factory creating something internally as opposed to the high schools. The other thing to consider with all of this is now the NCAA is very, very close to opening up name and likeness. So they're talking about allowing anyone to earn cash. The only regulation around it is really that they have to disclose anything that they're going to sign for. So they can do commercials, they can do autograph signings, they can do all of this stuff, as long as the school and logo aren't part of the advertisement, but it opens the door to boosters. Boosters are not excluded from doing this. So when we're talking about bagmen and we're talking about how to interact with these people and how to entice kids to go to these schools, that is certainly a manner in which it could happen.
All righty. Well, we can talk about this stuff all day, all these new NCAA rules and stuff like that. But we're going to take a little bit of a break here, and we'll be right back on Knightline the morning after, and we'll finish up all this stuff that we've been talking about in the next segment here. So back in just a couple of minutes. Knightline the morning after.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz.
Does Andy Reid look like the guy at a party who, when the hors d'oeuvres table is open, takes 3 pigs in a blanket from the large dish, puts them on a small dish, and then takes the large dish with him, sits down, and calmly tucks a paper napkin into his shirt collar while muttering to himself, "You come to Papa."
Dan Le Batard, weekdays at 10 a.m. on ESPN 580 Orlando.
They say it should be impossible for bumblebees to fly because their wings are too small for their bodies. But bumblebees don't care. They just fly. Bright Expectations is dedicated to helping our Florida residents with special needs and unique abilities find the resources, support, and inspiration that they and their families need to break barriers and achieve their dreams. Visit www.brightexpectations.com to start your journey today.
This message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Sharing Center has launched Operation Good Samaritan to help provide food and financial assistance to our neighbors impacted by COVID-19. Please make an urgent gift today. Go to thesharingcenter.org or text REFUEL to 50155. Take action now. Our neighbors need us now more than ever.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
At BurnFat Orlando, we're open to help you lose up to 30 to 40 pounds in 40 days, helping you build a strong immune system, especially in these crazy times when you need it most. The Center for Disease Control states those at greatest risk are overweight, diabetic, and or have high blood pressure. With our Step on a Scale money-back guarantee, you'll drop the pounds, get healthy, and strengthen your immune system. Call BurnFat Orlando now for our best offer at 855-889-8446 and schedule your in-office or phone appointment, or visit burnfatorlando.com.
Guys, waking up over and over to pee is not okay. But now, you can reduce those nighttime bathroom trips with the ingredients in Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced. We're talking about less urges to pee at night, less bathroom trips during the day, and better bladder emptying.
It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one.
You can try a full 30-day bottle of P3 Advanced, free. Just pay shipping and handling. No strings attached, no obligations, and no commitments to buy. This is a 30-day supply, absolutely free. Call 1-800-475-9079. Super Beta Prostate is the best-selling brand in major retailers like Walmart. But for this no-strings-attached free bottle, you must call now. Call 1-800-475-9079. Don't miss out on this unprecedented free offer. Call 1-800-475-9079. 1-800-475-9079.
Whether it's on AM 580, FM 96.5 HD2, Alexa, or Google Home, we are everywhere you hear audio. ESPN 580 Orlando, Orlando's home for the biggest events in sports.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, back on Knightline the morning after. I'm Andrew Phegley, joined by Ben, Big Social Stout. We got Roger Bengal on the phone. And back in the Victory Casino Cruises.com studio, we have Chase Bunker. We are brought to you by Chad Bar Law, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call, 407-599-9036 for a free consultation, or visit chadbarlaw.com. He will take care of you. Taking your calls, 844-225-5580, 844-225-5580, or your text 21232, or AP_Knightline on Twitter. And I guess we should probably, in this final segment, just give our opinions and talk a little bit about the NFL draft in whole and what we thought about that. Ben, do you want to start us off with that?
Yeah, I think under the circumstances, the coverage and the presentation of the NFL draft was pretty top notch. I thought having to do it virtually, the NFL as expected did it the best, did a fantastic job of it. Obviously there's some nuances where you see these guys and see the draft picks not in their tailored suits in New York, and they're in their sweatpants in their living room, and you get to kind of a window into some of these GMs' houses and stuff like that. So that was rather interesting. And you got Roger Goodell sitting back, but in his basement. But I thought overall it was fascinating and a good presentation.
And then you got Jerry Jones sitting on his $1 million, multi-million-dollar yacht.
Oh my goodness.
I posted this on Twitter right as the draft started. If I can get back to it now, I lost it on my phone. I said, this is absolutely surreal with the NFL draft 2020 being done like this. I look forward to it every year on my birthday weekend because it always falls on it pretty much. But this one is different. Best of luck to our UCF guys tonight and this weekend, blah, blah, blah. I kind of got emotional, believe it or not.
Yeah.
This COVID-19 thing has been interesting for all of us, with sports. Obviously, if we talk about sports, and it's one of our jobs to talk about sports, and it was, first of all, we're finally getting something that has something to do with sports. And then it kind of hit me like that we're all sitting at home. I mean, I'm a homebody, so it hasn't bothered me, but that bothered me. It was weird, and I'm even tearing up right here. You can attest to that, I'm sure. But
you getting emotional?
I know,
that never happens.
I know.
Well, actually, what you just said just made me think of something. Is that we're going to have to explain this to our kids one day, right? Like I have a 2-year-old daughter. She'll be 3 this week, actually. But
happy birthday to her.
But happy birthday, Leighton.
Thank you.
She'll, and happy belated to you. But we're going to have to explain this to our children one day, or anybody of the younger generation one day, what it was like going through this. And by that time, who knows what the draft coverage will be. But we do have a major event in a completely virtual setting that's never been done before and maybe won't be done since. And so certainly it is a nice little snapshot in time of a video actually showing what certain events that were done completely differently, how they were done during this time. So it is interesting.
Right, absolutely. Roger, you got anything quick for us? You got just a couple minutes.
Yeah. I think I agree that I think they did a pretty good job with it. The whole Hard Knocks stories got a little annoying for every single one of these draft people. It seems like ESPN wanted to talk about their Hard Knocks stories on every single thing. I thought it was a little reality TV showish, is that you had mamas and girlfriends that you got to see in various states of things. There were some interesting memes that came out of that. But outside of that, I mean, as far as explaining the coronavirus, kind of what you talked about, Ben, I think it's more about us coming into the younger generation's world. A lot of these kids are already doing online things. They're watching events online, et cetera, already. So for us, I think for me, at least, the experience was I'm coming a little bit more into their world versus the other way around. But I think it was great. They did it really well. It was enjoyable for me to watch, and I wouldn't be opposed to them doing it again that way in the future.
All right, Chase, real quick, you got anything that you can add?
I'm really surprised with this. Is the second year we've had the Raiders have multiple picks in the first round, and yet for some reason they'll always pick somebody that they could have gotten at their next pick. It's like, how is it that the Raiders are better at reaching for things than Taco Fall?
I hate the Raiders, just so you know. I'm an absolute Raider hater and a Bronco hater. Go Chiefs, by the way. We're going to win the Super Bowl again. All right, this has been Knightline the morning after. Thank you all for tuning in. We will be back next week at exactly the same place and exactly the same time. We'll talk to you then. Thank you.